I'm Dr. Alex Loyd, and welcome to the Spiritual Laws of Nature. This week, we are sort of piggybacking a little bit onto last week. Last week, we talked about how what everyone wants is to feel good now and to feel good later. That's number one. The second thing everybody wants is for people that they love and care about to feel good now and feel good later. And we talked about what determines that, if you're feeling good or not. And that typically the things we do to try to feel good now and feel good later don't work, and they end up making us feel bad now and even worse later. So if you missed that, please, you might want to take a look at that. All right? But this week we're kind of piggybacking onto that a little bit. Not exactly a part two, but certainly related. And what we're talking about today is there's two things everyone needs in order to feel good now and feel good later. I would call them pillars of your life. And if these pillars have cracks in them, or if one is fallen down, then your house is in danger of illness, disease, depression, negative thoughts, negative feelings, anger, not being able to reach your goals, negative stuff in your relationships, all sorts of things like that. Okay? And the two things, let's jump right into it. The two things that everyone needs is, on the first pillar, significance. Everyone needs to feel some degree, in some way, significant. I matter, okay? I'm significant in some way. And the other one is security. Everyone needs to feel secure. So let's talk about these two things first of all. Significance would include feeling like you are a good person or bad person. Okay? Significance would include, do you measure up or do you not measure up? Okay? If you want to get religious, you might say, are you saved or lost? And sometimes even outside of religion, we can feel like we're kind of lost, for sure, okay? This is also the area of judgment. And that means others and yourself. I'm better than him, but I'm not as good as her or whatever, all right? And it's the area of identity and worth. Okay, so in order to feel significant, you need to have a positive identity of yourself. Maybe you're not better than anybody, but you're just as good, all right? You need to suspend judgment. Judgment is for God and small children, all right? Typically, our judgment is coming from a place of selfishness and fear, all right? So I would suspend judgment. Now, that doesn't mean, I need to lose 10 pounds. Okay, you can judge that way, but not value judging. Because I did this, I'm a bad person or I don't measure up. All right? Because I didn't do this, I'm a bad person or I don't measure up. All right? And we talked many weeks ago that there's two systems of law, and we can really choose which one we live in. The first one is the way everything in nature works. Stimulus, response, action, reaction, karma, reap what you sow, natural law. Okay? The other one is spiritual law. Well, in natural law, if you do good, you get good. If you do bad, you get bad. But in spiritual law, you do good, you get good. But if you do bad, you can still get good long term. The tragedy is, in my experience, very few people choose to live under spiritual law. They choose to live under natural law because it's what they've always done, it's what they see everyone else doing, and they really don't know there's an alternative. But there is. Okay, so you need to suspend judgment. You need to base your worth just on the fact that you're a human being. You're just like everyone else on this planet. Kennedy said, we all have these things in common. We want what's best for our kids. We breathe the same air, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. You're a human being, so you are equal to anyone, not unequal. All right? You can be a good person even if you do some things you interpret as bad. Or maybe it's not an interpretation. Maybe they are bad. Well, you can still be a good person even though you do. All of us make mistakes. All of us mess up. In another terminology that I grew up in, all of us sin. Sin just really means to miss the mark. Okay? So that's significance. If you feel you have a healthy, positive ID, you don't judge a lot based on behavior, you assign worth just for being human, you realize you can be good no matter what you do or don't do, and to do that, you have to be living in that spiritual law, not under natural law, that you do measure up, because it's not about what you do, it's about who you are inside, and you are okay. You're not lost, okay? And even if that's a feeling, the feeling of being lost should go away as well, okay? On the other side, secure means you are safe, you are accepted, and accepted just the way you are, all right? This is the category or area of rejection. And I've never met a person in my life who did not have a rejection issue. Most people have a bucket of them, and almost everyone has a birth trauma that is working in them as a rejection, okay? And the safe, that is physically and non-physically or emotionally. Okay? So, if you're not safe physically and emotionally, if you're with someone who is constantly judging you, belittling you, making you feel small, like you don't measure up, whatever, then chances are you are not secure in your life and in who you are. If you have someone who's verbally abusing you, then you probably do not feel secure. If you're in a life or death situation, then you're certainly not safe and you feel insecure, but once your life is out of danger, you should go right back to feeling safe and secure. Okay? So, these are the two pillars. If you have these two things right in your life, if you believe from the bottom of your heart, feel, you think these thoughts, you have these emotions and feelings that I am significant and I am secure, both physically, emotionally, I'm not in a war zone, I've got food to eat, etc., then chances are your life is going to be pretty good. Okay? Because from these two pillars come everything else. All of your house, all of your body, all of your career, your relationships, they are all built on these two pillars. So if these are not strong, then all those things in your life are going to be shaky. Okay, so what makes these pillars shaky? What cracks them? What causes them to fall over? All right? It's really very simple. If you grow up in an atmosphere of love, unconditional acceptance, and safety, both physically and emotionally, then the chances are about 9 in 10 that you will have very good significance and very good security, and everything you build on top of that in your life, your career, relationships, everything else, health, is going to do good, just like a house built on a solid foundation. However, if you grew up in a situation where you did not feel safe, secure, and significant, you were made to feel insignificant, you were made to feel rejection, either emotionally, physically, or in any other way, then everything you try to build in your life, you're going to have problems. And even if you're gifted financially and you become a multimillionaire, the chances are pretty good you're going to be a multimillionaire and pretty miserable. Or at least feel like something is missing. Okay? So what's the solution? The solution is you've got to heal the damage. You've got to heal the memories, the thoughts, the beliefs that say I'm insignificant, the judgment, the identity, worth, meaning poor worth, that I'm not good enough, I don't measure up because of this or that. You need to start choosing the second system of right and wrong, the spiritual one, where even if you do bad, you still get good long term. Okay, and so if you don't know about that, go back and watch The Greatest Principle or some of those videos, and we explain that in detail. But basically, this is determined by whether you experienced love and acceptance growing up, or fear and conditional acceptance. If you're good, then we will say you're worth. You have positive worth. But, oh, you were bad. And many of you probably heard the thing that a kid needs 10 positives to offset every one negative. But the latest research shows that what kids are actually getting these days is 10 negatives to one positive, and in some cases 20 negatives to one positive. So what does that mean? It means we get to 18, 20, 30, 40, 50, and we do not feel significant. We don't feel secure, but we try to build our life, our stable, wonderful, beautiful house on these pillars, but the pillars aren't strong, and so it starts to crumble and fall. Okay? So you've got to go back and replace the fear and anxiety and anger and rejection, low self-worth, judgment, with love, joy, and peace. And we've given you several techniques to use to do that. Trilogy is a fantastic way to do that. Memory engineering is terrific. Change any memory in about 10 minutes. And that means change it from insignificant and insecure to secure and significant. All right? And then that memory, the rest of your life, resonates a positive instead of how it has been happening, resonating a negative. And that affects you physically, mentally, and spiritually all the time. Okay? So this week, I would ask you to pray, to meditate, contemplate, get a piece of paper and a pen, and maybe explore these. Okay, significance. Do I feel like I measure up? Do I feel like I'm a good person just the way I am? Or I would have to do this and this and this to be good? If that's what you believe, I think you're believing a lie. Am I saved instead of lost? Do I have positive identity of myself, positive worth? Am I loved and accepted just the way I am? Exactly the way I am right now. Completely loved and accepted. So, make a list of the different areas of your life. Okay, my relationships with my spouse, my children, my parents, my brothers and sisters, the people at work, neighbors, old friends from school, whatever. Okay, related to this person, do I feel significant and secure or insignificant and insecure? Related to my dad, related to my mom, related to my job and career, related to just me as a John Doe person, okay? Do I feel significant, secure, or insignificant and insecure? All right? The reason you feel insignificant and insecure is because of a lack of love and too much fear. So the antidote is pouring in love and removing the fear. But you really don't have to worry about removing the fear. It'll go away automatically when you pour in the love. Well, how do you do that? Well, we've been talking about that in the spiritual laws all along up until now. So I would ask you to go back and watch some of those, especially the greatest principle. That'd be a great place to start. We'll explain most of it there, all right? But basically, you're swapping out one set of software that says, I don't measure up, I'm not good enough the way I am, I'm not safe, for a software that says, I'm significant and I'm secure. And that will change, guaranteed 100%, everything in your life. And it'll change your spouse's life. It'll change your children's life. It'll change everyone around you when you do that and then start to live in a place of significance and security. Okay? So I would do a diagnostic this week and see where you stand. If you want to take my test, it will automatically show you where you stand on a -10 to +10 range. And it diagnoses the unconscious mind. It diagnoses your ancestral issues and the subconscious mind. And there's very few things around that'll do that, okay? So do that. Make a note yourself. Ask some other people, how do you see me? Especially people that are close to you. Do I seem significant and secure? And then you've got to ask the question, even if they say you do, are you like my wife who used to say I'm the best actress in the world? Inside, I feel totally insignificant and insecure, but when I'm around people, I act as if I am. Let me tell you, that takes so much energy. That will exhaust you as fast as anything I know. Okay? So, this week, reprogram your significance and security, and it will change everything in your life. Guaranteed. Thanks a lot, and have a wonderful, blessed day.